Thank you, Sabrina. We do owe you a debt of gratitude. And remember that each and every one of us are advocates going forward. So thank you. Our next speaker is Dr. Melvin Levie. It's been my misfortune not to have met him prior to today. But I've been told by many people in this room that he is as good as it gets. Dr. Levie graduated from UBC School of Medicine in 1966. He completed his pediatric specialty at McGill in Montreal in 1971, returning home to Vancouver in 1978, where he was part of the brain injury team at Sunnyhill. He continues to have a pediatric practice in Vancouver. Both Jean and Sabrina will elaborate more on his background and his support after his remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Melvin Levie.
Thank you very much for this opportunity to speak with you. I wasn't quite sure what the audience would be like or what my talk would be, so I wrote it over and over many times, and with my poor handwriting, I'm just not sure what's going to come out. At first, I would like to pay tribute to the members of FEAT for all their years of dedicated service. I'd like to pay particularly tribute to Sabrina and Jean for helping me understand autism. They've helped so many children and so many families. They have been a great inspiration to me to continue my work as a pediatrician. I'd also like to pay tribute to all the children who have autism, who have worked tirelessly to learn language, to learn to play, to socialize, and to do much, much more. I'd like to pay tribute to their parents and to their siblings, who have turned their lives around to teach and support their autistic child or brother or sister. I was once told that when something small happens to a child, it's like someone steps on your toes. When something serious happens to your child, it's like someone steps on your heart. I'd like to borrow a phrase from Al Gore, the former Vice President of the United States, as he uses the term inconvenient truth. In autism, there are many inconvenient truths. The incidence of autism is significantly increasing. Dr. Susan Lewis of the Genetics Department recently gave a talk and stated that the incidence is 1 to 150 children. I remember years ago we used to talk about 1 in 5,000, 1 in 2,500, and now we're talking about 1 to 150. The other inconvenient truth is that therapy for autism is done by expert psychologists, ABA therapists. Another truth is that treatment is expensive, that treatment is not performed by doctors or nurses. And another inconvenient truth is timing is critical. I've heard some doctors and physicians say that autism is not increasing. There's a great many who do not understand. I have seen my role as a general pediatrician to see a child who has been referred to me as soon as possible. And if I make a diagnosis, I try to get them therapy as soon as possible. There should be no wait list for therapy and no wait list for diagnosis and no wait list for therapy. Diagnosing and managing a child with autism is different from most illnesses that I'm involved with. The usual course of events is that I would diagnose a child with a certain illness, diabetes, gastrointestinal problems, kidney problems, and I would immediately after that start medication or refer them to a specialist to provide medication. That is door A would be to make a diagnosis, and door B would be start immediate therapy. In autism, I make the diagnosis, but there is no door B. I have to tell the parent to make phone calls to find an ABA consultant, find a speech and language therapist. The parent has to go home bewildered, heartbroken, and has to start from nowhere to get help for their child. There is no other medical condition that therapy is the sole responsibility of the parent. My last comments are regarding the actual therapy for autistic children. It is only this illness in which I have to negotiate, or you have to negotiate with the government, for the type of therapy and for the hours of therapy. If I have to treat a child with diabetes and the child needs 40 units of insulin, I don't negotiate and say, well, maybe we could get away with 20 units of insulin to treat them halfway. But this is the arguments that I have and we have with the government. We have to negotiate the hours and the duration of therapy. There is no other illness that I know as a pediatrician where there is negotiation of treating a half child less than maximum. Autism may be an inconvenient truth to whomever, but autism is an increasing reality which needs everyone's understanding and support. Thank you.